Carl,
Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you taking some time out to join us at the meetup and to talk now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful pleasure.
Tell us about your journey then. Why are you here in Portugal? Not on the planet, we'll get to that. Why are you here? The bigger philosophical question. But why are you here in Portugal, first of all?
A couple of years ago, my wife and I in this seat kind of said, well, what if? Where would we want to live? What if we could get all of our bucket list pieces?
Yeah.
And then as we were going through things, whether it was Australia, Europe, the UK, different parts of Asia, Portugal kept becoming more and more of everything we thought we'd want. So the culture, the cuisine, the climate, the infrastructure, the affordability.
Yeah.
And then obviously the pandemic hit. So we're like, well, let's put that part on pause. And then everything was saying it was time for a new adventure. It was time for a new home. It was time to go to a place that we really wanted to live in. That was a wonderful new adventure. And next thing we knew, things started aligning, and we ended up in Nazareth.
How easy was all of that? Because that is a major life change. Oh, sorry, we've got to turn the camera around now. Am I going to be able to do this in time? No, I missed it. They need to be ringing that bell, don't they? A little bit further down the street.
That choo-choo is just wonderful every hour. Maybe.
So we need to time that, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but that is a metaphor in a way, isn't it?
It is.
You yourself were the great land train of hope and a new life in Portugal, and now you've arrived.
Oh my God! And it's everything and more than I could have imagined. It's wonderful. It's magical. It's practical.
Loving this.
Oh my God. I don't know that there's anything about Portugal that could possibly come right now. I mean, you hear people talk about different journeys and things that are obstacles. Obviously, the challenges of setting things up from the States in terms of getting everything lined up. There's definitely a good amount of foundational background. Okay. But it felt like this was the place that was calling to us, and then we were able to line up all the puzzle pieces, put them together, and then ever since we arrived, it's just been like amazing, wonderful. I love to cook. The food here is off the charts.
Yeah. Well, in terms of ingredients or the receiving end in restaurants? Both.
Even though with restaurants, we tend to be pretty much homebodies. And so I love to cook. And it's like going to the market and being able to start to get to know your vendors, whether it's Rui for the tomatoes or Luis Miguel for the cherries and the strawberries. And then you look for the longest line on the bread, and you know that's the one the locals are going to. So you line up there, and then you get your cementos or these different breads.
How long have you been here?
4 weeks.
And you've learned all of this in that time.
Oh my God.
You do love your food, don't you?
I do, but I love to be a sponge, and it's like you go there and there's just so much to do. And if you're just spend a little bit of time not getting caught up in your own head, you start to meet new people. You start to have wonderful experiences. And between the farmers market, not first time in decades, I haven't been in a vehicle for over 4 weeks, and it feels absolutely liberating.
So these mopeds you hired today, this is
the first time we've been on 2 or 4 wheels since July 14th of last month.
Okay, sorry, because I did start to ask you tonight how difficult or easy the process has been. For a lot of people, that's an important question.
Absolutely.
What the process. So can I rewind you a little bit? And when did Portugal come to your notice, and how long has that process been from that first falling in love or the penny dropping to you setting foot in Nazareth?
3 years, Nazareth.
So it's been a 3-year process.
3 years from, if you will, inception to the baby coming out at the delivery side.
We've gone from land trains as metaphors, haven't we, to labor now.
Well, after all, it is a form of birth, and if you think about it, let's just say the labor was easy because we prepared and did our Lamaze classes when it came down to the preparation for arriving in Portugal.
This is relatable, isn't it? So you took Well, I was going to say, you took your time. Is that a fair assessment? You know,
we took our time making the decision, and once we made the decision,
Okay.
we wanted to line up all the other pieces in the States or wherever we call home.
Yeah.
And then so it was like, okay, but then we kind of had the short list that once we were green lit with the visa application being submitted,
Yeah.
then we had our
How long was that bit?
Oh, it was 8 weeks.
Really?
Eight weeks from the appointment being set. But again, thanks to both myself and especially Naseet, my wife and my soulmate, she did so much background information so that we knew exactly what we needed. Everything was there. We knew we were going to get approved, and then it was like, okay, now we have to wait. But in that process, the rental, the FBI check, the where do we want to live? How are we going to start this off? Do we sell the property here, or meaning back home in the States, or do we do something else with it? So you have to kind of go through whatever your different processes are and have a clear, short, concise list of things you want to do, so that when it comes time to say, okay, go, the clock has started, you can kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've got another metaphor then. It's a bit like building work, isn't it? You know, when you see the boards go around the building site, and it seems like weeks and months pass, doesn't it? Where they're digging down into the foundations, and you're not really seeing that. And then one day, it rises out of the ground, and then boom, 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 boom. That part of it is a lot quicker. It sounds a lot like what you've been through with your process.
And to use that metaphor even more completely, it was like, first of all, there was the architect and the design, which is the two of us looking at where we wanted to go. Then it was like taking the design and getting it approved. And then it was like making sure you had all the contractors lined up, so that once the process started, whether it was below the ground or above the ground, you wanted it to be smooth, seamless, graceful, and just be able to enjoy the ride.
Yes. And are you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, about 11.
Very good. So, would you recommend that then, as a way of dealing with this process? You know, some people will be watching this and thinking, I want to do what that guy's done. Sounds great. That approach you would recommend to other people. You know, I suppose we could bring a lot of metaphors in here, couldn't we? It's like training for a big game as well, isn't it, or a big race or something like that. A lot in the preparation, then you flick the switch, and everything's in place, and now here you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I think bamboo is the best kind of like gardening metaphor. If you want, if you're tending to things, sometimes it doesn't look like there's a lot happening for a long time. Be patient, keep persevering, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 and you're there, and hopefully you're loving it. If it was everything you wanted it to be, and you were sincerely lining all those things up, then I don't think I've been this happy and fulfilled in decades, and I've only been here a month, so maybe it's still the honeymoon period, but you can pinch me anytime. I feel wonderful.
Probably won't do that, but thanks for the offer. It has to be said, you're a pretty happy guy anyway, aren't you? It's not like this has been the answer to all your prayers and you're kind of a bit miserable before you came here and discovered this joy here. You're pretty high on the scale of well-being and positivity, I think.
Absolutely. And, but part of that background is having all kinds of dynamics. We know when the puppet show looks good, but there's always a lot of stuff going on in the background that required perspiration and perseverance to get to. So I look forward to waking up every morning grateful for everything that comes my way. And in the process, I find that if I make the best of the way things turn out, then usually things turn out pretty well.
Which I think leads us into your professional work, right? That sort of attitude. This is your work. Before we get into that, we are being treated to some pictures of Sao Martinho de Porto, the bay, the slipway, where people are bringing in their jet skis and boats and so on. And that's T-Duck, roving T-Duck is out and about with the camera. So thanks, T-Duck, for that. Really appreciate it. Whilst we're having a chat here with Milan, and what you do for a living. I've got your card in front of me. For Better Living Now, what's your work? What is it you do?
For Better Living Now is about professional life coaching, and what I like to do is help people personally and professionally get more out of life and help them get the results and the desired outcomes they want better, easier, and quicker than they could otherwise. I think the most gratifying thing is it started off, I'm in, I call it marriage 3.0, shall we say. The third time around, knock on wood, the third time is the charm.
I can identify with that.
But if I had my life in a nutshell, it would be 5 decades, 4 weddings, 3 wives, 2 divorces, 1 amazing journey, and 0 big picture regrets. So,
Hold on a minute. Can you do that again?
sure, 5 decades, 4 weddings, 3 wives, 2 divorces, 1 amazing journey, and 0 big picture regrets. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's a nice countdown, Milan. I noticed. And 4 marriages, 3 wives because you've been married twice.
4 weddings.
4 weddings.
Nasid and I, we renewed our vows.
Okay,
so that explains the 2 ceremonies.
Just
but
check
it fit the 4, so I needed something to fit in there between 5 and 3.
That works beautifully. The whole idea of then of personal development and how that, people will be thinking, hold on a minute, what's that got to do with moving to Portugal? I think it's got everything to do with moving anywhere, right? If you with a big life change, with migration, this is going to be a hero's journey for a lot of people with challenges along the way. Do you think it's a good idea to have a life coach to support you on this journey?
I think it's a good idea to have a life coach for any of life's challenges, whether on a personal or professional level. And speaking to this, my God, if you could if somebody could help you see the pieces that you don't see and then help you get the details down week in and week out, then you're going to have a much more seamless experience because your level of awareness, your tools, your skills, your ability to come prepared is going to be much more full. And in return, you get a more fulfilling experience.
Yeah. And I think after you've got here, I often say, after the luggage comes the baggage, right?
Yeah.
And wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah, you always take yourself with you no matter where you go.
What does that mean for people, do you think, who might be on their migration journey? What does that mean to you?
I think that there's going to be a honeymoon period when you go somewhere new, and what you don't necessarily suspect is that you always think if you fix the external elements and environments that somehow that'll make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about personal development and human potential is realizing that the joy that comes from inside, by getting those pieces right, then the external stuff doesn't have as much of an impact on your happiness, on your health, on your well-being, on your financial abundance. So when you work from the inside out, you're generally going to have a better life experience than if you work from the outside in, because you have no control or limited control over the things that happen outside of you. But we all have 100% control of the things that happen inside.
Which, if you're an outside-in person, that could be a little bit shocking, right?
Absolutely, because you've always looked at that external stuff to give you validation, but it's at some point, again, everybody's version of whatever they think is absolutely where they need to be.
Yeah.
But at some point, you'll discover that it's kind of like drinking salt water to quench your thirst, and there's a limited return on investment.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hold on. So some of the things we do as a way of solving our existential thirst are fresh water, and some of the things we do are salt water.
And sometimes they're tequila and a margarita. It just depends on your particular version of what's going to work.
Yes, very good. It's quite a metaphorical afternoon, isn't it?
I love metaphors. I think they tend to tell us more than literal interpretation.
So true, so true. Okay, question for you from Steve. How did you choose Nazareth?
Nazareth kind of chose us, but if one of the ways that we chose Nazareth was we came from Redondo Beach in Southern California in the greater Los Angeles area.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did is we compared, we wanted to have enough that was similar and then some things that were different. So with Nazareth, Nasit, she tracked the climate and the temperature, and we looked at it was like within 1 degree, both the ocean and the air temperature. So we went as far to detail to check when the cloud cover was lifting and when the sun was out and how many sunny days, because we wanted to have a certain level of appreciating, having something that felt very at home.
Yes.
And then Nazareth was kind of like, we also wanted central Portugal. So we thought it's not too far from Lisbon. It's by the coast. We love being near the water. It's got all these different elements. And once we got here, we also wanted nature. We have a beautiful 4-legged son, so we wanted to have some space for him.
Yep.
And for me, exercise. Back home, we would bike ride along the beach 5 days a week for about 60 miles a week. And here I was like, but we're walking. And then I discovered the stairs going from Nazareth, the fishing village, up to Sitiu at the cliffside. And then it was like, oh my God, I get my walk, I get my stairs, I get my hike, I get my nature. And by 10 o'clock in the morning, I feel like I've just had the best day of my life each and every day.
So you chose it from afar, and it seems to be ticking all your boxes.
100%.
How's the four-legged boy enjoying it?
He's adapting well. The nature could be a little bit more for him. So he's good. He was used to having a backyard where he could run around.
Yeah.
But he's doing quite well.
And we're talking about a cat, aren't
We
we?
are
We're
talking about a cat.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name is Boo Boo.
Boo Boo, of course. So there you go,
And
Steve.
we got him a little tag with both of our Portuguese phone numbers. So in case something does happen to him, he will easily be returned to
Very
our
good.
bosom.
That's a nice tip for people. We can see that T-Duck is over by the new Kaish bar. There's a new bar in town. Very nice it is too. He's hearing us, I think, which is great. And that is a nice looking. Oh yes, he's nodding. That's a very nice bar, is it not, T-Duck? Let's just go over to T-Duck for a moment then. Isn't that lovely? That's new since you were last here, isn't it, T-Duck?
It is. I've not seen this before. They have Superbach, they've got Somersby, and I see Tanqueray over there. So G&T's all around.
So it could be freshwater, it could be seawater, all available here in Sao Martinho, and Tanqueragian as well, whatever your pleasure. What else is going on up there on that side of the bay?
A lot of people down here today. I'm really surprised.
Yeah. Are you going to go to
busy
the tunnel?
for Wednesday.
Are you going
I
up
was
to the
going to
tunnel?
work my way down to the tunnel again, if that's suitable.
And as we say on the morning show, who doesn't like to work their way down to the tunnel first thing in the morning? Okay. Yes, thank you very much. All right, we'll come back to you in a minute. Thanks, T-Duck, for that. Keep up the great work. Milan, we've answered Steve's question there. How did you choose Nazareth? And obviously, you're very happy with Nazareth. You got the Central Portugal thing. I thought it was funny because Sharon Monday is saying that's the area I'm from, presumably over there in California. So Redondo, did you say?
Yes, Redondo Beach, which is about maybe 15, 17 miles south of LAX proper, right along the beach.
And do you get that cloud and fog in the mornings like you do at Nazareth?
Absolutely.
Okay, so a home from home.
Exactly, in a different way, but yes, the spectacular sights of Nazareth and the absolute bonkers amount of tourism this summer. It feels like when I think of Portugal, it feels like for 3 years somebody's been in prison and they've been let out, and now they're absolutely going for it. So yeah, Nazareth feels like a blend between the Côte d'Azur and then just a small fishing village meets this amazing mesh of Italians, Spaniards, French. My God, so many French people. It was great. We were in one of those choo-choos that went by here going up looking at Nazareth. There was an Italian couple in front, a French couple in the back who lived in Portugal, and I got to use both because I love to speak different languages.
Your wife was telling me that you speak 5 languages, is that right?
Yeah. I'm originally from Belgrade, Yugoslavia, which is now Serbia, so I speak Serbian, French, Italian, Spanish, and of course American English.
How's the Portuguese going?
Fala um pouco de português.
Well done. Muito bem. Okay, well, I'm so pleased for you. Finding Nazareth, choosing Nazareth, a great match for you. Do you intend to carry on working as you did in the United States, or have you retired?
Oh, no. I love what I do. It absolutely floats my boat and gets my engine going. There's nothing better than feeling like you're serving people, and that by making other people's lives better, to be able to really enrich your feeling of purpose and fulfillment and making the planet a better place, one person, one session at a time.
Marvellous. And how do you work? How do you operate?
I operate remotely from the house. I have a couple of websites, which is the same as the name For Better Living Now. So what I do is I mostly work by referral. And then I also have a corporate contract where I work with doctors, healthcare professionals. So during the pandemic, what was great was I was able to help a lot of frontline workers.
Yeah, great work.
Especially with stress and life-work balance, because they were all out of balance and they were all stressed out because they were in the front line of something that was not known for quite a bit of time.
And you're still working with stateside
I'm still working with stateside clients. So what's great is I can actually have a wonderful time during the morning and the afternoon and start, take a nap and then start my work day at 3, 4 in the afternoon and work to 11 o'clock. And then I wake up in the morning, I pray and meditate, then I have a cup of coffee, I sit down, and then after that I get my shoes on, go up to the Citadel and feel nature and get all wonderful. Then I go to the farmer's market and get all the good stuff for the day, and then
Hold
eat.
on a minute. Is there going to be a For Better Living Now Portugal edition where you coach and mentor people to achieve that kind of lifestyle?
Oh man, absolutely. Whatever the universe presents as an opportunity, I will definitely say yes to. Because right now, life is just unbelievably wonderful.
This could sit alongside the whole set of practicalities, couldn't it, of moving to Portugal? Is having a life coach. I've not heard anyone. I mean, you've been your own life coach on this journey. Presumably, you might have supervision as well.
Oh yeah.
And your own professional. But it's funny. I've not heard anyone say that. I've got my life coach working with me on this process. It would be a pretty good idea. Do you think people are just a bit private about that and don't like to say?
Well, the nice thing about life coaching is you can stay private about it because it's confidential and personal. However, from the standpoint of how to make anything better, but even this move to Portugal, my God, if somebody already has the experience, the expertise, and the know-how to help you connect the dots and be able to solve some of your problems and issues, you don't have to swim out there alone. And much like networking or connecting with a community like yours, it's such a benefit to be able to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and because other people have done it before you. Why reinvent the wheel and go through all kinds of heck?
Excellent. You get perspective. Here's another metaphor. We're looking at perspective from the edge of the quay here, and T-Duck has he already gone through the tunnel? Did we miss that? You've not been yet? You're going to go back and go through the tunnel, aren't you, T-Duck? No. Okay, so he's not gone through yet. He's just at the edge. He has. Oh, can you turn around? Where are you? Oh, okay. He's still on the quay. That's great. He's still on the quay. So he's going to go back and walk us through the tunnel in a minute. But that's a lovely view there. I don't think I've even been down that. Have you been down that far?
No.
Okay.
Landing here and coming to this cafe is we rented a scooter and we went down to Foz, and then we came up here, and it's like a 20 mile per hour wind. So figuring out how to get here and then looking out and going like, wow. I mean, every day just feels like it's the best day ever for the last 35 days.
I am so pleased for you. My 6-year-old daughter says that. Best day ever. And you would hope, wouldn't you, that 6-year-olds see the world like that? And it's so great to have you here saying, best day ever, best day ever.
It can happen for adults as
it
well.
It can happen for grown-ups, isn't that brilliant? And Sharon, look at this. Sharon, her earlier comment, whoa, that's the area I'm from. But coincidence upon coincidence sounds like absolute heaven where you're in Nazareth. And no way, my stepfather is from Zagreb.
Oh yeah, dobar dan. Say dobar dan to your. Yeah.
Excellent, Sharon. Thanks for being here today. And a hello from Scott as well. Hello, Scott. Great to have you tuned in this afternoon as well. I think should we take a little trip with T-Duck now?
Let's
down
do
the
it.
Tunnel. Okay,
Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Milan. Really appreciate you being here, coming today and telling us about your journey and what you do. Let's go to full screen then and see what T-Duck has got for us. We're going into the tunnel live on the live stream here at the. This is an extension of the Sao Martinho Silver Coast Meetup that we do every Wednesday. Come and see us. Come and hang out. Have you enjoyed hanging out with the folks? They're a nice bunch, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's delicious. It's wonderful, and it really does not only feed your soul, but your social appetite for conversing and just meeting other people who are on this adventure.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I've opened the mic up for T-Duck as well. We're going in.